Hello. Yes, I'm still exploring the wonderful world of Guzzi and all its quirkiness. So at the moment my main focus is the foot pegs, and so I've put some penetrating oil on these so we can actually take these pegs off, and that's quite a nice setup. And we may use the original pegs, we may just shorten them. Anyway, what I was looking at was something totally different. I've been looking at the handlebars. I think we're going to keep this throttle grip, although obviously we'll change the grip, and we might do our just turning upside down trick rather than adding clip-ons. We'll see. I was also looking at taking the headlight off so we can get the indicators off, get them on eBay, all that kind of stuff, looking at the front forks, and I found this, which is I've seen before obviously on the Honda. Yes, like that, like a T-junction effectively, which makes sense on the Honda because it's got not one but two discs, which clearly the Guzzi doesn't have. So why has it got one of those? Well, apparently Guzzi thought it was a good idea to put the front brake switch on the end of a cylinder rather than on the lever. Okay, so we can probably get rid of all that, even though this guy has obviously put in a nice new braided metal brake line. It splits at that point, but we will be replacing these levers in favour of something else much more funky and modern and whatever like that. So our reservoir will go on top like that, and therefore the switch will be on the lever itself, which makes infinitely more sense to me. And yes, before you kick off, Mr. Mills, these are not original Guzzi levers either. Oh, what? He's not watching anymore? No? Alright, whatever. So, why don't we get those exhaust pipes off and get them on eBay. Talking of which, including the exhaust mufflers, silencers, if everything on this bike that I've taken off so far sells on eBay, the cost of the bike will be less than $500. Not bad for a fully running Guzzi, huh? Okay, now we got the mufflers off. We had a little bit more room to work around the footpegs, and what we've got here, so this basically is the brake, because the brake of course is on the left hand side. Very pretty it is too, because the drive shaft is on the right hand side, all back to front. So this bar goes all the way through to the brake pedal, and likewise the gear shift has got a shaft that goes all the way through to the transmission. Unnecessarily complicated, or rather necessarily complicated. Anyway, that collar there holds the shaft in place, but it also holds this piece which holds that shaft in place. So here's the idea, and I haven't got a spare foot peg amazingly, but if we put the foot peg there, then we want the actual shift to be about where the kink is. That's about where your foot would come, like that. So I guess all we need to do is work out what size and pitch that is. An alternative is to use the existing peg and just shift it back, cut this end off completely, and have the pedal there, or rather the footrest there, in which case the gear shift would only have to be shortened a little bit. I don't really want to do that. Now I guess we could flip sides and use the rear passenger foot peg instead. That could work. And the same goes for the other side, so what is currently the foot peg will become the brake pedal, and your foot will rest here. Which is good, amazingly simple potentially. until we get whatever foot pegs we get in the front, and they are complicated to fit into that equation. As you may know from previous builds, foot pegs can be troublesome. What you also may have noticed when we took the pipes off is that I wasn't expecting like a foot of internal pipe to be there, but we'll leave it on for the time being until we know what exactly we're going to be doing with the exhaust. I'm thinking something similar to the Kawasaki and the Suzuki that we did before. Something like that. No, I know, I'm being remarkably refrained and not getting the angle grinder out yet. What I'm thinking is from this point on, we wrap it with some gold wrap, clean it up obviously, because our foot is going to be here, so we want it to come out behind our foot, and then just put one of those little doofers on the end, like the Kawasaki. This little doofer. Yeah. As for the rest of the rear end, whether we just go for a seat like on the Honda over there, or we actually put some kind of tailpiece on like the Kawasaki, I don't know yet. I just happen to have one handy. Yeah. So yeah, something like that, maybe. A bit higher at the back end. Who knows? There's the alternative. Compliments of the Honda. Yeah. Anyway, all that shuffling around, we seem to have knocked our average speed down to 80 miles an hour now. Yes, there's that ridiculous battery again. Why is he charging it up? Well, I thought we should fire it up without the mufflers on to see what it sounds like. Like that idea? I have to tell you, the switch is extremely pernickety in a truly Italian fashion. So there may be a degree of faffing involved. Just letting some of those fumes out. Sounds alarmingly like a Harley, wouldn't you say, Angelo? But I suppose that's not unusual, given that they're a very similar format. Anyway, I think we can all agree it ran when parked, or before I started messing around with it. So from here on in, I've only got myself to blame. Talking of which, I think we'll call it a day for this episode. Still very much open to suggestions as to which directions we should go. So if you thought the video was at all interesting or whatever, entertaining, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe down here somewhere. And of course, encourage others to watch my lunacy.